Hey, welcome to Teen Tuesday. We hope you're having a great day. Your year is almost over and all the projects are coming due. And if you haven't already finished them, and some of you are very close, congratulations to those seniors who have gotten some announcements on your graduation date. I know you're excited about that and starting your summer and getting ready for college and just moving on to the next grade level. But I wanted to say something about some of the disappointments that you faced in the recent days that you have experienced. Disappointment is something that we are all going to face many different times in our life. In fact, there was a man named Thomas, and he was one of the Jesus' disciples, and I think he gets a bad rap for being called the disciple that was called Doubting Thomas, right? Doubting Thomas is one of Jesus' disciples, and in fact, in the book of John, after Jesus dies and before he is resurrected and before people see him, Thomas is basically by himself. He went back to his hometown, and he said, "Unless I can, touch his hands, touch his side," and he said, "I will not believe." And this is how he gets his nickname, Doubting Thomas. But I don't really necessarily think it was that. I think it was disappointment. And I think it was sadness. What would you have done if you spent 3.5 years with somebody, day in and day out, left everything you had, and all of a sudden the promise of this kingdom that was coming, the promise that you were going to spend this eternity with them, the promise of all the promises that were that were even promised in the Old Testament, that all of a sudden all that had vanished? Disappointment. You see, Thomas wasn't so much about him doubting, but was that the fact of everything that they believed was going to happen didn't happen, because they had no idea that we were going to have to go through a church age and then Jesus was going to set up his kingdom. They were tired of being under Roman tyranny, and all of a sudden all their hopes was based on this Messiah, and he dies. Jesus appears to him 8 days later, and he says, "Thomas, touch my hands, touch my side." And then he said, "Blessed are those who don't see, but yet still believe," meaning still live off the hope of my return. You're going to deal with a lot of disappointments in your life. And I want you to know this. There's going to be things in your life that are going to come in and come out that are going to truly hurt you. But recognize this. Jesus hasn't changed. He is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Just because they didn't understand the promise of the church that was going to be coming doesn't mean that he's not coming back. I want you to think about all the stuff that's been canceled here lately. Even some of you may have graduations postponed, or colleges may not start when they're supposed to, or school may have to start a week early or go out a week later. I want you to think of the things that are not canceled. I want you to think about how your sins are still forgiven, that Jesus Christ is still on the throne. I want you to think about the family that you still have around you that's loved you and cared for you and taken care of you. I want you to think about what God has placed around you in your life. He says, think on these things that are true, things that are honest, things that are worthy. Not so much focus on the disappointment. I want to tell you, it took 8 days for Thomas to be encouraged and understand the promise that Jesus was talking about. Cancel out the doubt, the disappointment, and focus on how much he loves you, how much he's going to take care of you. And none of this has caught him by surprise. We love you. Pray you have a good day.